And the state of the wrestling business at this point is maybe the bleakest it's been in quite a while. The WWF is going to be moving to Viacom and taking all of its properties with it. And of course, that means ECW is going to be canceled off of TNN. WCW's business is way down too. You're there for this, you see it happen. I'm curious, you have seen sort of the ebbs and flows of the wrestling industry your whole life. And there is a phrase inside the industry where people say, oh, the business is cyclical. You're seeing it on a downturn here. You're actually on the inside of WCW looking out. It's a guaranteed contract. I'm sure you're not necessarily worried about your money, but you study the business in a way a lot of other quote unquote wrestlers don't. So I'm curious, when you would see WWF business booming, they make a move to Viacom, ECW, who had been desperate to have national television for so long, in one felt swoop, it's over. Not that it was working like gangbusters for them anyway, but it seems like WCW, through all the upheaval, all the trials and tribulations of we got Russo, no, we don't. Now we got Russo and Bischoff, no, we don't. I mean, it's kind of all over the place, but you're observing the business end, not necessarily the creative, but how many tickets are we selling? What's the gate? What's the pay-per-view buy rates? What are you feeling and thinking as somebody inside the business looking around and realizing times they are changing?
So you brought up that Nitro that we talked about last year, last year was September
25th, 99
of 99, right?
Yeah.
No,
that would have been September of 2000, a month prior to what we're watching here.
Yeah, but that's why, because when you brought up just a second ago, you brought that up. October of 99, they went public.
Right.
And how was I feeling? And to give a quick recap to get us from October of my first year in WCW, time after time after time, it was so obvious that, look, there was a lot of folks that contributed to it. But at the end of the day, Vince McMahon built this company starting in early 80s, and he seized the moment in end of 98, going into 99, because it took about that long. We're going public. And with his leadership, they went public and forever changed the course of his family, his kids and grandkids and great grandkids, just changed the course. But it was on that, his vision and his leadership. Flip going to WCW, and I've covered this so many different times and so many different angles, but at the very core of it, get there, Russo's in, Russo's out. Eric's in, Eric's out. Committee's in, committee's out. Just the corporate run versus the strong visionary leader run. It just became so obvious, the rudderless ship. That's why a lot of folks, and it's fun on social media, this was the straw that broke the camel's back, or this was the first nail in the coffin, or this was the last nail in the coffin. I think at the end of the day, by design, it was set up to fail. Now, did it have to fail? No, but you just look, not just in the wrestling business, any type of entertainment company is always flourishes with strong leadership and fails with committee leadership. And this was the case in 2000. I mean, we're going to get into some nitros here and to, Australian tour and, just all kinds of stuff and creative leadership change in and out. All of it is, to me, it is a byproduct of lack of a leader.
Well, the day after that Fun Thunder, where Russo's the world champ and Beetlejuice got a guitar necklace, it's a taped Thunder from Pennsylvania with 1,620 paying fans for a gate of $47,380. This is not a house show. This is a television taping for Thunder. And now, a year prior, you're working in front of sold out houses every night. Yes, you're paid on the house, so that really matters. Now, a year later, you're not paid on the house. but you're playing to empty seats. How defeating is that as an in-ring performer to go out there and you got the big music and the big pyro and the big entrance and the lasers and the lights are going and there's nobody here.
You know, the blessing, the curse of growing up in the business. So being around the Memphis territory or going to Puerto Rico or going to Texas, I've worked in front of sellout houses and I've worked in front of terrible houses. The kind of the thing that made WCW, you know, it always stung in a different way. I would imagine on this Thunder, 5 to 6 to 7 stars were advertised that weren't there. And that from a business perspective, you can, creative is subjective, time of business, building, routing, ticket sales, marketing, all that kind of stuff. But as a company, when you don't just shoot yourself with a foot, you just kind of blast yourself out of any chance of doing any repeat business in the future. But you do this over and over and over. That's the first thing that comes to my mind is that when these bad houses, and it, you know, the Thunder we're talking about wasn't the only bad house. You know, it was down. You go, why is anybody surprised? I mean,
Right.
business is bad, but man, do we do anything to help ourselves? No.